TV. The godsend that is televised entertainment has been around for many, many years. Like the television sets themselves, TV shows have evolved in quality, budget, and scale. I have watched a lot of TV shows in my time, and there are a lot of classic timeless ones, and there are a lot of new gems. Today, I'm going to count down 5 television shows that resonated the most to me. Television shows that I love. Here are my top 5 TV shows. Number 5. Atypical. If I were to describe this show in a brief sentence, I'd describe it as a very authentic, true-to-life, spice-of-life show featuring a boy with ASD and a girl coming to terms with her sexuality. Sam and Casey Gardner are fantastic characters, brother and sister respectively, and the everyday struggles they go with in the show, they deal with it like real people. Like, that's how I describe this show. It's very real and it's a great watch. They don't overemphasize the problems of ASD or underemphasize the problems of that as well. Like, Sam does go to a therapist in the show. The same can be said for Casey and how she comes to terms with becoming pretty much bisexual and finding out who her friends really are and who aren't her friends. And it's not just them, their parents go through struggles. Sam's best friend, Sahij, goes through struggles, But it's a very enjoyable show that's accessible to pretty much everyone. Some of the obstacles in the show are downright hilarious, so I won't spoil them here, while others are really serious. Atypical is just that. An atypical show with atypical characters, but their stories and consequences executed really, really well. I'd recommend this show to pretty much anyone, especially those who can relate to ASD or the LGBT community. Atypical is great. Number 4. Futurama. What a classic show. It is the right combination of sad and hilarious. It follows the life of a miserable pizza delivery man who gets accidentally frozen in a time capsule in the year 1999. He wakes up 1,000 years later, and what he wakes up to find changes his life forever. I love every single character in this show, from Fry all the way down to Zoidberg. They all have such unique and colourful personalities, but they have great camaraderie with one another. Each of the characters goes through a personal stake, from Leela finding out about her adoption history, to Bender finding out how he was really made, and so on and so forth. But this show is just so fun to watch. You could honestly have a good time with it because the characters are just that funny, that memorable, and that iconic. And the theme for this show is great. Number 3. Black Mirror. What's really interesting about this show is the fact that every episode has its own story. It's not an episodic show, but all the episodes do feature one core theme. How advancement of technology can ruin modern society. Not in a post-apocalyptic sort of way, but in a moralistic and lack of connection sort of way. The issues discussed in Black Mirror are too complex for me to discuss in their entirety here, but I'll just give a little bit. In one episode, there is an eye implant that you can use to rewind time and relive moments in your life, but the episode shows how such a device can lead to insecurity and the ruination of relationships. Another episode is an interactive game where you can choose the consequences of the main character, and those are just 2 episodes. There are so many more interesting stories and dilemmas that the characters in Black Mirror have to go through, but they, for the most part, feature technology at its core. Black Mirror is a dark, unforgiving show, but a powerful and impactful one. All 5 seasons are on Netflix, so you really need to check this show out. I wouldn't start with the first episode though, the national anthem. I think that one's a bit weird. But every other episode for the most part, stellar. Number 2. Batman the Animated Series. What can I say about this show that hasn't been said already? Fantastic animation, great action, beautiful music. It's the show that brought us Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as Batman and the Joker respectively. The definitive versions of Batman and the Joker to me. It also brought us Harley Quinn, a very famous DC character now, and the reinvented, correct version of Mr. Freeze as far as I'm concerned. Batman the Animated Series is an absolutely timeless show. I can watch it on repeat and never get bored. That's the thing, Batman the Animated Series rarely ever gets boring to me. Actually, in fact, it never does. And it's the atmosphere, like, it's pure Gotham, pure Batman, everything you'd want in a Batman show. Comedic moments reminiscent of the Adam West era, serious moments reminiscent of the Tim Burton and Christian Bale eras. Everything else that's said about this show has been said to death. I'm pretty sure there's 4 seasons of it, the 4th one being a little bit bizarre but still great, because it has a different animation style and tone. Well, not tone, but look. If for whatever reason you haven't seen Batman TAS already, please check it out. Especially, not even just a Batman fan, but if you're a superhero fan, you will not regret it. And number 1. Cowboy Bebop is an absolute masterpiece in my eyes. It follows the lives of Spike, Jet, Faye, Ed, and the dog Ein, of course, on the Bebop ship, many years into the future. They are basically a purposeless crew of bounty hunters who do anything to survive, like most people. But that's one massive theme that this show has. Lack of purpose. What is one's purpose in life? Because all these characters, bar Ed and Ein, because one's a kid and the other's a dog, went through something major in the past, a major life-changing event. I'm not going to dare spoil any of them here, you have to check the show out. But because of that, these characters' lives are changed forever, and now they feel like they don't have a purpose, hence their bounty hunter job. This show is basically an animated version of Guardians of the Galaxy, but 10 times better than Guardians of the Galaxy in my opinion. One major theme of the show is its dreamlike atmosphere, and that plays into the whole theme of purposelessness and loneliness, and how that can affect a person's mind and motivation to do what they do. These themes affect the characters in a major way, and I'm not going to say it here. But Cowboy Bebop is also hilarious, dramatic, action-packed. It has unbe-fucking-leavable music. The opening theme, Tank, in this show, you have to listen to it. Even if you don't watch the show, that theme is just epic. And that's the entire original soundtrack from the show. In my opinion, it's the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a TV show. Cowboy Bebop is just amazing. It's a western in space, but it's so much more than that when you look beyond the surface. Check this show out.